the October 5th, 2009 be approved and the reading of the minutes be dispensed with.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Rennebeck, second.
I'll second.
Ms. Brockway, any discussion? Roll call?
Sheila Brockway,
Yes.
Gerard Renadette,
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes. As a portion of our meeting, we invite anyone present that would like to address the board to do so.
John St. Germain, 2391 Route 3, Katyville, New York. I was going through your budget figures and perhaps you can give me some answers, maybe not. But I found that the general fund you increased $200,000 and that gave you a total of $1,650,000 for the general fund and sales tax revenue. Plus, you used a cash surplus of $729,210, and that was to bring it to a zero tax rate, which you're basically telling me in this budget that it takes $2.3 million to in appropriate in revenues to maintain your general fund. Now in the highway fund, you took $225,000 away from the highway fund for whatever reason, giving them $1,400,000. And then you added in a 30-cent property tax on the highway, which is supposed to bring in $300,000. And you also utilized the cash surplus of $329,825, which means taking out the $300,000, you're going to use $1.7 million for the highway department. And I would wonder why you would have a property tax rate on the highway and why you would take $200,000 from the highway and give it to the general fund and create a 30,000 tax rate for highway. And also you gave $729,825 in cash surplus and the general fund, but only gave highway fund $329.85. And I was wondering why you would do this, why you would create a property tax of 30 cents a thousand in the highway department when you have surplus funds and you've taken highway sales tax money away from the highway department. It just kind of makes them look like big spenders, and I would hope this isn't the intent. The other thing that bothers me about your budget is that you ended up with $1.1 million in surplus money. Now that means that's $1.1 million of taxpayer money that you kept all last year because it ended up as surplus. Now what your real surplus is, I don't know. That's just a surplus you use to balance your general fund and to help keep the tax rate down on the highway fund. But that represents $1.1 million in surplus, represents $90 for every man, woman, and child in the town of Plattsburgh that you kept in surplus funds, or about $230 per household based on 2.4 people per household. Now I would think that that money could have been either given back to the county to reduce taxes. I don't know what you gave back last year, but either nothing or $200,000, where actually it looks like you could have easily given them back $1 million. and reduced our county general tax. And why you would keep $230 per household when these people needed the money because of the economic times, especially last year of all years, for food and medicine and fuel and what have you, $230 is a lot of money to some people. And I know I haven't been able to get to any of your budget hearings or budget sessions. I don't know if you've been having them or what, but I haven't seen anything in the newspaper, so I haven't been able to see if there's anything. But I just wondered if you have any explanations of any of this, or...
I'm going to make a quick reaction, and certainly anybody else can comment if they'd like. One, I don't have the budget material in front of me to know what you're looking at, et cetera, so I'm not really going to comment on any of those specifics. There wasn't a $1.1 million general fund surplus, and I'm not sure. I'm sure, John, you have that down there. I just categorically don't know where it is.
That's a combination surplus of general and highway fund. That's true.
Highway sure didn't have anything left over.
Well, you're saying in there, in your budget, you're saying in revenues, you're showing surplus for that $329,825.
Again, I don't have that in front of me. We've also, but I assure you that there's not a little nest egg somewhere of over $1 million that the town just sat on. The budget has gone through some revisions since that was filed. I think I made note of that at our work session, and we had some updates. Budget officer and I have been meeting with department heads, looking line by line, page by page, and the revised tentative budget will be available to counselors and everyone. We've advertised, made note that there is a budget work session tomorrow at 6, and that will give everyone a chance. Counselors haven't had a chance to collectively come in. We also have some department heads that will be joining us to answer any questions that they might have. From that, I'm not sure where we will go. As I said, we've made some revisions. Highway budget, for example, in that draft, I believe, had 2 snow plows. We're going to try to budget for 1 because there just isn't enough money for that. But some of the other stuff, as I said, it's roughly $14 million budget. I mean, you've seen the stack, the pages are pretty significant. I would never comment about specifics generally without some of that around, other than the idea there's some sort of surplus there. By no means is there. You're certainly welcome to come tomorrow night. We'll be going through that.
Yeah, well,
And if you'd like to come back anytime tomorrow afternoon or whatever, I'm here. And, we can look at it in more detail.
But these figures, it just doesn't seem to make sense to me to create a 1,000 property tax in the highway department when you took $200,000 away in sales tax, and you know and I know that sales tax money can go anywhere in the general and highway fund. You can transfer it into highway anytime. You can't transfer it back out, but you can transfer it.
I think if you look at the last page, you'll see that the final entries on that draft are balanced out with that 300,000 in highway.
Yeah, I mean that is what gets you to the zero tax rate.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, what you're doing is you're still keeping, that between the general fund and the highway fund, you're still keeping a $1.1 million surplus that you use to reduce to get to a zero tax rate. So it's got to be there, or you wouldn't put it in the budget, I would hope.
When you're, and I do want to move on or give someone else a chance to make comment. I'm suspecting from listening a little more, when you talk about surplus, you're talking about the sales tax, anticipated sales tax revenue?
Right.
That's budgeted as, you can call it surplus, you can call it a number of things, but it's budgeted as revenue, as inflow to help pay the bills.
Yeah, but
It's not, when you say surplus, that
that's
sounds like
above-
something you don't
That's
need.
above and beyond your sales tax revenues that you're already showing of 1.6 million. That's above that.
Yeah, come in with that, we can take a look at it. I know, there's just something missing there, and I don't know what it is. I don't have that stack of stuff in front of me. But there is a meeting tomorrow.
Okay. Thank
Okay?
you.
You're welcome. Anyone else wanted to make a comment?
I just think it's important to know also that we do have a reduction in revenue in that pilot agreements have expired. So that's another thing that the town has had to address, the town board's had to address as far as budget. We lost $450,000 from Saranac Partners. There was a pilot from the malls, I believe, that we, highway maintenance from the airport.
Square.
We lost all of that. All of that expired in this year. So there's several $100,000 of revenue that was coming in previous that it's gone by the wayside. So we had to address all of that when we worked on the budget. And I did meet with the supervisor and the department head so that there was another set of eyes, another set of ears. And again, the notice was published, I think it was Saturday or Sunday, I noticed in the legals. The notice was published for the public hearing, or the workshop, excuse me, for tomorrow night. So,
The other thing too, we haven't had any chance to come together and discuss it. Budgeting, of course, is an interesting process, and along with everything mentioned as far as revenue, our revenue is not where we'd like it to be. Mortgage tax fees are off significantly. Sales tax, of course, is off. We're doing very well compared to many municipalities. Even singular events, like the Comfort Inn not being in operation this year, has cost sales tax revenue as well as, those jobs in the economy. Now, we've offset it with a number of new businesses that I'm very pleased with. And we see a new trend in this last quarter. I think I many times called it the Nova bus factor. Everybody just, when Nova opens, we'll have all that payroll, and we would expect much of that to be spent to meet those workers' needs within town businesses. And we did see a little bump. Confidence is low. Cash is king. Money is not available from banks, but we've seen some permits nonetheless, and more than others. But it's been tough to keep up at a time when gas is up, insurance is up. New York State retirement, we've been told, is going to hit the 40% bracket pretty soon. And the good thing, at least it's what I hear from the majority of people, they want services. We need to maintain our roads, plow the roads. We need to make sure our infrastructure, the water system is where it needs to be. So we get into a situation where following our meetings, individual meetings last week, if we remove ambulance and fire from the town's budget, we're hovering somewhere at about a 1.5% increase now. I haven't shared that before, but I will right now because we haven't done the final calculations. But an expense increase in a $14 million budget in that environment of 1.5%, certainly less than 2%, I think is phenomenal. The problem is on the revenue side, it hasn't kept up even that meager amount. I do encourage our budget officer to anticipate bills high and revenue low. One of the worst mistakes you can make, and I would advise this group individually, in public, with videotapes and without, is not to hang the future on politically correct decisions in the present. We have got to try to hold the line while we move forward. Now, sales tax is moving the right direction. You start spending money you don't have yet. There are a lot of second-year payments, fourth quarter payments we don't have. We could anticipate them to continue on the uptrend. That could be extremely dangerous. We don't want to run out. As it is, as the governor has recently announced with some need, obviously, to cut state spending. Unfortunately, there are institutions that have budgeted and anticipated revenue from the state in aid, et cetera. And if they don't get that, what do they do with their budgets? It's a terrible situation. And that's why I think it's very important. There's, as I would define surplus, as money that you don't need, you don't budget, you don't plan to spend. There's not a surplus, but certainly within various categories, again, you budget your expenses high, your revenue low, and you hope to be able to smile at the end of the year. But as you know, with our audits, which have come out very well, we would take any fund balances, which could be coupled as a surplus, and out of a $14 million budget, it would be a significant surplus. You budget those balances at the end of one fiscal year as offsetting revenue into the new year. Every single dollar's got to be accounted for and spent. We recently had conversation about, we have a strong concern about New York State retirement going up 40% in 2011. We don't want to get hit with 40%, but we can't cookie jar too much money either to try and make it too smooth of a transition. So it's a juggling act. But I think counselors, and again, we haven't talked at all since we had that meeting, I feel very good about what we've done. You will see when you look at the second writing of this tentative budget, department heads that have actually reduced their request for the coming year over the previous year, because they're very aware that this is, the time to hold on, not to ask for things that we should have and might need and would like, with the idea that it'll be better one more time around. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow night. I hope everyone is able to be there.
I think you're right about the fact that Nova Bus has improved the economy, but it's basically become an offset because we've lost jobs at Bombardier, we've lost a number of other industries, not just in town of Plattsburgh, around the area where people were making money and come into Plattsburgh and spend money. That's where our tax revenue comes from. So I like to be conservative on these, and as you know, I've always suggested that we keep a balance because we never know when you're going to need it. And certainly New York State found that out, and I think that, we want to be sound physically, and so we want to be able to have that surplus there so that we can use it if there is a disaster or if it is really necessary. It doesn't mean that we're hiding money or anything like that. It's in the funds.
And we hope it's an offset, Tom. I think that's a really good point. Again, I don't have the statistical data, but even if it were a perfect offset of the businesses that have had to reduce or close, families have finally been doing what got us in trouble, where we were spending money we didn't have, we were buying things nobody down. We all were getting, and ironically, I don't know about the rest of you, I'm getting fewer, we were all getting an enormous number of credit card offers and extended credits. The ads all the time, if you don't have good credit, don't worry about it, we'll take care of you. Now these families that have gotten these new jobs, those that are holding on, even if there's an offset, the philosophy's changed, they're not spending it. They're saving more, they're looking for better deals, they're putting more money down, so it's keeping some money out of the economy, local economy, but it's a good thing. They're making better decisions. I too believe in some things we believe that are coming in the near future. It will improve again, but it's not going to be at a very rapid rate because I think we have had some paradigm shifts. And it's a good thing because that old paradigm got us in trouble.
Yep.
You don't need to spend it just because you have it. Now take me full circle and I'll be quiet now. That the town needs to do the same. We want to be careful that we don't spend it just because we have it. And I think that's been the philosophy, and you'll see that tonight. Anyone else? Okay, we got on a budget tangent, but it certainly is that time of the year. Resolution 313.
313. Resolved that the abstract of claims number 10B-09-92391-92536 in the amount of $2,104,988 $57.28 be received and as reviewed by the audit committee, and the supervisors hereby authorized to pay said abstract.
A motion?
So moved.
Mr. Brockway, second.
Second.
Mr. Renner, any discussion? Roll call?
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Jill Brockway,
Yes.
Gerard Renadette,
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 314.
Resolved to receive and place on file a report from Stephen Imhoff, Codes Enforcement Officer, for the month of September 2009.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Brockway, second.
Second.
Mr. Wood, any discussion? This is one of the areas, again, when we talk about cash flow and whatnot, there certainly have been some new homes, and we see that, but there's been also money being spent on home additions, home improvements, building garages. So people, again, are reinvesting in what they have,
Like heating systems and porches.
which are very good investments.
and so, yeah. And one occupied commercial business.
Roll call?
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Jill Brockway,
Yes.
Gerard Renadette,
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 315.
Resolved to receive and place on file a report from Fred Levine, Superintendent of Highways, for the month of September 2009.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Renadette, second.
I'll second.
Ms. Brockway, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Jill Brockway,
Yes.
Gerard Renadette,
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 316.
Resolved to receive and place on file a report from Melody, the Fire Recreation and Youth Director, for the month of September 2009.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Brockway, ladies first. Would you like to second that, Mr. Wood?
Second.
Any discussion? I'd like to add that we've talked a bit about the disc golf that Mel was able to get the grant for. It's up in Cable, up at the park. I did go out yesterday. My idea, I'll be very bluntly honest, was to make sure I could come back and say I took a look, and I wanted to take a look. And I thought I might throw some discs in one or two of the tees that they have. As it worked out, I went out actually with my wife and my son. We ended up, my son and I, my wife didn't, she's not ready to throw discs yet. We ended up playing all 9 holes. We really enjoyed it. It is very nicely done. I'm hoping she'll be able to get a grant for 9 more. It's getting a lot of use. It's something, a community can do and use and have. There's no fee. It's very safe. It gets them in the fresh air, and it was fun.
And all you need is a Frisbee.
All you need is, well, you can go do with a Frisbee. They actually have, if you look online, special disc golf. I don't even know if it's appropriate to call them Frisbees. I guess they are. But I just took out a putter and a driver, and it really was a lot of fun. I can see families going of all ages. The maintenance for that is very low. And again, I don't know if you've seen personally the tees that they hit into. They look extremely durable. I don't think we're going to have any problem with that. So that's just a great addition. I hope people continue to get out there. I think we'll see the schools using them and other organizations.
So you didn't slice it or hook it?
Well, the slice was as is with that little white ball and big club. Nothing changed
And
at
it
all.
also replaces, like, we don't have any mini golf here anymore and things like that. That people
Good reason to get them
kids
out.
want.
Absolutely.
I'm sure that Mel thought of this, but it just came to my mind, so I'm gonna mention it. Was Peter notified about the additional equipment out there, just in case we have an insurance problem?
I think so, but let me follow up on that.
I know they came.
You know, as with anything else, we want to make sure that we plan ahead in case there's a problem with the equipment out there.
He's very good at monitoring things, and he's part of the staff when he comes in. But let me cross that T. In fact, I did receive a credit from the insurance company today for equipment that we no longer have and vehicles that have been sold that are off the insurance now, so.
I also want to make note, Mayor, that Janet's been working on an Eat Well, Play Hard program and plan a family fun night at the city gym this month, and that it was co-sponsored by several agencies in the community too. Which, we're still trying to do the healthy.
Right.
She's done a great job with organizing programs in the community.
And I'll send the congratulations out. I mentioned at the work session to the Recreation Department. They met with the County Youth Bureau and the City Recreation Director to discuss possible future collaboration on programs. Again, it's another great idea of sharing services, and they're to be commended.
Very good. Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Sheila Rockaway,
Yes.
Gerard Renadette,
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 317.
Resolved to receive and place on file a supervisor's financial report for the month of September 2009.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Wood, second.
Second.
Mr. Renadette, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Sheila Rockaway,
Yes.
Gerard Renadette,
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 318.
Resolved to receive and place on file a report from Rick Collins, Town Clerk, for the month of September 2009.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Mrs. Brockway, second.
Second.
Mr. Renadette, any discussion?
I have two reports. Which one is the correct one? Are they both correct?
Ricky has been giving us the previous year's report for that month, so you can do
Oh, okay.
comparisons.
All right.
So at least mine has 09 on top and 08 on the bottom.
Okay.
You'll note that '09 is up about two times, no, almost three times what last year was, '08 in revenues.
Which is extremely encouraging. Rick had talked about this the other day. I don't remember if it was in a work session or if it was in the hallway, Rick, but the permits, what do you see with that, Rick?
Yep. The permits are way up. I mean, it's just, as you can see on the thing for the month, so I think the way things are coming into the town and stuff is on the increase, so.
That would be some sort of predictor of future building, future construction, and so on. And that looks good. And we have, as we've talked before, Panera and Moe's is working real hard to get in, and other future attractions. So the more you build that property value and tax base, you can spread the cost of services out, and it really helps keep it down for everyone. And again, jobs brings money into the economy. Good news for us, we were talking earlier, the Canadian dollar is nearing par, if it's not at par, and certainly that traffic is very helpful.
I think we had a lot of hunting licenses.
Extremely a lot. As you can see that we were way above average of what it was last year, in excess of $10,000. And I think through the advertising of the senior citizen program that they were able to take advantage of it. You can see by the increased numbers and being flexible and staying there for the extended hours, that to let them do it, and it more than well paid off.
Yeah. Which is really good. I'm glad people took advantage of that before it was too late. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Sheila Brockway,
Yes.
Gerard Renadette,
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, resolution 319.
Resolved to receive and place on file a report from David Comfort, Director of Water and Wastewater Department for the month of September 2009.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Ms. Brockway, second.
Second.
Mr. Wood, any discussion?
We did change the wording on the fifth dot down from Champlain Park, lift station to consolidated sewer.
I passed that message on, but it did not get changed, at least in mine, but I will make note of that.
Well, as long as we've got that down for the future.
Yes, I did speak with Mr. Comfort about that.
Yeah, I did too, Tom, and he said that it made sense to him that we standardize, all of them to let them know that, this is the location, but it no longer belongs to the district that it belonged in. Again, I'm guessing, I hesitate to speak for Dave Comfort, but I'm guessing that we still have our work session paperwork, and that's why we don't see the changes. But the changes were well received.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Sheila Brockway,
Yes.
Gerard Renadette,
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 320.
Whereas the duties and responsibilities of the Highway Department mechanic requires complex skills and knowledge of all town of Plattsburgh vehicles. And whereas the Highway Department has been managing the routine maintenance and repair of all town vehicles, including New York State inspection. And whereas in order to continue to provide the current level of service and maintenance for all town vehicles, Town of Plattsburgh, as noted in an attached letter, Highway Superintendent Fred Levine has requested the town board create a position of auto mechanic for the Highway Department. And whereas the position of auto mechanic is not included in the current salary schedule, the budget officer and supervisor shall create a new line item with acknowledgement of the new position, supervisory responsibilities. Now therefore be resolved that the town board authorize the budget officer to create the position of auto mechanic with a step 1 starting salary of $19.20 per hour, and that this position be made part of the current salary schedule with steps computed as indicated by the current agreement. And it is further resolved that in support of Mr. Levine's request, Mr. Bruce Barber, MEO mechanic, be promoted to fill the said position pending civil service review and approval of his qualifications, and that as per negotiated agreement, he will start at step 6 of the salary schedule, the first pay period following the final approval of this resolution by the civil service. And it is further resolved, a copy of this resolution be given to the budget officer and be forwarded to the Department of Personnel and Civil Service for final approval and filing.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Renadette, second.
Second.
Ms. Brockway?
I have a question. Resolved that step 1 starting salary should be $16.75. It's not $19.20. $19.20 is the step 6.
For 2009, you're absolutely right, 1676.
I was off by a penny.
That's what I have on the attached. You have that, the new schedule?
No, I don't have a
Okay.
new one, but I do know that that is incorrect. We need to change the
Yep.
step 1 starting salary to the 1676.
Okay, that will be amended. I would also note that since this came, we received word last Thursday afternoon that Mr. Barber did qualify for the position, and Civil Service has done their approval pending the board's agreeing to this proposal. So that piece is in place.
So would you accept the amendment to the?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, thank you.
Oh, that's the right, it's just a typo. It's not even an amendment as much as a correction.
Well,
Correction,
we accept the correction.
Accepting the correction.
I just want to see it's 1676.
It's 1676. It's already been changed.
Okay.
And for the record, I think we're very fortunate to have Mr. Barber working for us. He is ably qualified for the position. This is not a new position that was created. It was new for the town of Plattsburgh, but not new to civil service. They already have the position. Mr. Barber was already doing the duties of that position. So it was incumbent upon us to follow through and create the position and reward him, reward him the way he should be, pay him for what he's doing. So I did see him today and asked him when he was going to be doing front end alignment still. So 'cause I know he requested a wheel balancing machine. He's going to start doing the mounting and balancing, so we won't have to send vehicles out for that. We will save, like we're saving in inspections, we'll save in the loss of manpower and downtime for our vehicles with the ability to repair a flat, to replace it, balance the tires. So again, I think that he's serving the town very well, and we're very fortunate to have him.
Yeah, I think did a great job. Well said on that as far as what he has, and I think it's really important that we have this in-house and we can use it for different departments.
Yeah,
It does save an awful lot of money for the town.
Yes, it does, and he's doing that along with his other duties that he had been performing, so there were just no changes. It probably is also worth noting, because we talk about, you use words like creating a new position, a raise, a promotion, and it carries with it some sense of, wow, what is the change? It should be noted that in particular, for this position, when it slides down to step 6 over versus current salary, it's like a 23-cent raise. This is not a significant bonus to him, as much as it simply acknowledges him and creates the civil service position for the duties that he's able to perform for us and cleans that up. And obviously, the position that he had is paying 90+% of this. We're not filling the other position.
Right.
That title will be left empty. So it's not a big budget item at all. Anything else? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Jill Brockway,
Yes.
Gerard Renadette,
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 321.
Whereas the consulting firm of danjerry.com, 553 Beartown Road, West AC, New York, 12992, has prepared and submitted a proposal between the town of Plattsburgh and Dan Jerry dated October 13, 2010, for professional services to provide a website development and management for the town of Plattsburgh on a contractual basis for the balance of the calendar year 2009. And whereas the town board does hereby accept the proposal from Mr. Jerry, www.danjerry.com, therefore it is resolved that the town board does hereby award the professional consulting contract for services in accordance with the proposal dated October 13th, 2009, which that should have been on the top, to December 31st, 2009, to Mr. Dan Jerry to assist in website development and management. And be it further resolved that upon review and approval of the same by the town attorney, the town board does hereby authorize and direct the supervisor to execute on behalf of the town of Plattsburgh said contract at a rate of $50 per hour in the amount not to exceed $5,000. And it is further resolved the copy of this resolution be given to the budget officer.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Brockway, second.
Second.
Mr. Renadette, any discussion?
That first, October 13th should be 2009, not 10. That,
Okay,
that Ricky picked up.
that's right.
And this is to maintain our website, the town of
We,
Plattsburgh website.
right, and it'll probably phase in with maintenance first. The website, we've been talking about this literally for months. We've had a number of meetings. Staff has gone out and done some work to improve their department's site, get some photos. And TJ Myers, who is still doing everything he had been doing, was very desirous of doing that. He even showed us some models of how it might be upgraded. But the reality is, given a number of things that have happened, his time needs to be spent behind the scenes with the server, with the software, with everything that keeps it going. If we had a really exciting upgraded website, but you couldn't get online and the servers were crashing, and we've been going through a lot of software changes, as you know, that is the priority. And he finally conceded. He said, I just can't get to it. And again, his priority is keeping this system functioning. As a interim, and I truly see this through December 31, to enable us to do some upgrades, manage almost every department has just been concerned, as is the town board. We want to get our minutes up there as soon as they're ready. Now, people are looking to the website for information. We want to have the forms for our recreation program, for planning, for codes. It's just crucial. And as you recall, I shared with you some number of months ago the tens of thousands of hits we get every month from literally every continent. And much of this is developers, investors, people that are considering doing some work in our community. And what do you do today? You go to the website. So we need something that really reflects who we are and where we're going, not what we were and where we've been, which is what the current site does. It's got to be more user-friendly, which the current site is not.
It's important, it's really important right now too, because we're in the midst of the comprehensive land use committee review, and it's real important that that information gets out to the public. I think that probably, considering how many people actually came to the meetings, that this is probably the best way of getting information out if the website is working, so that they can see what's going on and reply to us and give us the ideas that they have.
One of the things you'll see, and it was one of the things we were very pleased with this agreement, is that Mr. Jerry will respond, I'm reading, respond to requests for updates to website for minutes, meeting agenda, text change, etc. And it will be performed within 1 to 3 days. Time is crucial. You know, the internet's a high-speed medium, and if our stuff's getting up after people make calls or drop in, it's just too late. It doesn't work. And so much more we could do. So we're a little excited about this. It's going to be in second gear for a couple more weeks, but then he's very interested. I already have him tentatively booked to come in and meet with department heads. He wants to truly help them create the links that they want. I strongly recommend this.
I'm glad to see that we're moving forward on this. It's a little bit of a problem, though, that we did wait, or had to wait as long as we did to find out that what we were expecting we weren't going to get this year. I wish we hadn't had to wait so long, but I have to commend the board for moving ahead and not saying, well, you know, there's only 2 months left of 2009, let's just wait. It's time to move forward on this, and the timing is right. We should do it. So, you know, the supervisors to be commended for taking the initiative and going ahead and moving forward on this. I think it's a good idea, and its time has come.
Have you reviewed this contract?
Yes, I have. Well, very simple, very straightforward, and the other thing too is that there's a termination of 30 days, so if for any, well, no, for any reason we were dissatisfied with him, give him a month's notice, and that's it. We're not hooked into anything, nor is he hooked into us, so.
He will not be an employee, there will be no benefits
No.
and so on.
States he's an independent contractor.
Contractual service.
Yeah, very clear.
Okay, roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Sheila Rockaway,
Yes.
Bart Benedek.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, resolution 322.
Whereas North Country Life Flight is a nonprofit, tax-exempt corporation which is responsible for all aspects of patient care by providing medical equipment training, medical personnel, and administering the medical portion utilizing the New York State Police helicopter based in Saranac Lake and private fixed-wing aviation resources. And whereas New York State Police and private fixed-wing aviation resources do not provide medically trained team or equipment for patient transport. And whereas the people of Clinton, Essex, Franklin, Hamilton, and St. Lawrence counties receive vital emergency medical service, which is free of charge to critically ill and seriously injured patients. And therefore, municipal governments are asked to pledge monies for this worthwhile program. Now therefore be resolved that the town of Plattsburgh does hereby authorize the supervisor to enter into a contract with North Country Life Flight Incorporated for the purpose of operating a medical component of the medevac program, which will serve as residents and visitors in the amount of $1,500, which represents the town's share for 2010. And it be further resolved that the sum of $1,500 shall be charged to the Community Services Fund account for the 2010 budget.
Have a motion? Mr. Brockway, second.
Second.
Mr. Wood? I would add that this will be, I believe, their 20th year of the service. And as long as I've been around and looking back a couple of years, this is the same amount the town has contributed. Obviously, they would like a little more contribution, but resolution indicates the same as it has been for a number of years. And this year is probably good. keep it the same.
And it's a vital
Yeah.
service for us. That's not a lot of money.
No, we're fortunate to have it. And it's, again, with the whole concept of sharing services to reduce costs and to be able to offer more services, that's what makes this work. Any other questions, comments? Roll call?
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Sheila Brockway,
Yes,
Gerard Renadette,
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 323.
Whereas the safety of town residents and others who drive on town roads is a priority of the town board, and whereas Art Bro, Director of Building and Grounds, has received a request that the town of Plattsburgh provide street light for Marie Drive to improve visibility and safety. And whereas a letter dated August 28th, after review of said request, Mr. Bro has recommended that the town board authorize said request and direct New York State Electric and Gas to install and activate a street light in front of 5 Marie Drive with the expenses paid from the Cliff Haven Lighting District. And whereas NYSEC will provide the luminaries, lamp, photo eyes, brackets, and connections to New York State Electric and Gas system with lights that will be 100 watt hours and Cobra head fixtures to be done under the current system agreement that the town of Plattsburgh maintains with NYSEC under Public Service Tariff 121, Service Class 3, street lighting, and therefore be resolved that the town board, on behalf of the town of Plattsburgh, does hereby authorize the installation, activation of street light on Marie Drive using NYSEC pole number E2 located on Marie Drive. And it is further resolved that the supervisor hereby authorized to have New York State Electric and Gas install and energize said street light with expense to be paid from the Cliff Haven District, and a copy of this resolution be given to the budget officer.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Renadette, second.
I'll second.
Ms. Brockway, any discussion?
Have the usual discussion. It's an energy waster to continue to have more lights and to put more lights up. Need all those lights. We're supposed to be going towards a zero energy community. We're going to have to do that considering the situation in our country. And I think this is expenses that we should be cutting.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
No?
Sheila Brockway,
Yes,
Gerard Renadette,
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 324.
Whereas the town of Plattsburgh desires to continue to pursue economic development initiatives that will enhance job opportunities for its citizens, and whereas the town of Plattsburgh is an eligible applicant under the New York State Community Development Block Grant Office of Community Renewal Program, and that it is thus eligible for financial assistance. And whereas the town of Plattsburgh is eligible to receive up to $750,000 in grant funds in 2009 for community development block grant funding for economic development. And whereas the applicant of said grant assistance requires 2 public hearings to be held to consider potential projects. Now therefore be resolved that the town board, town of Plattsburgh, being the governing body, therefore will hold said 2 public hearings to consider submission of the 2009 New York State Community Development Block Grant Office of Community Renewal Economic Development opening round grant with public hearing 1 held on November 5th, 2009 at 6:35 p.m. and public hearing 2 to be held on December 7th, 2009 at 6:35 p.m. That a public hearing be held for the purpose of hearing all persons for and against this proposal to be held at the Town of Plattsburgh Town Hall offices, 151 Baker Road, Plattsburgh, New York, 12901. And it is further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to cause notice of the public hearing and meeting to be published in the Press Republican in accordance with the town law. Written comments must be received before 2 p.m. the day of the meeting.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Wood, second.
Second.
Mr. Renadette, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Sheila Brockway,
Yes.
Gerard Benedette.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 09-325.
Resolved that the notice of the following hearing shall be published once in a local newspaper. Notice is hereby given that the tentative budget of the town of Plattsburgh for the year beginning January 1, 2010 has been compiled and filed in the office of the town clerk. Further notice is hereby given that the town board, town of Plattsburgh, will meet and review said tentative budget and hold public hearing thereon at the town hall located on the Baker Road in the town of Plattsburgh, Clinton County, New York, on Thursday, November 5th, 2009 at 6:45 p.m. prevailing time. A copy of said preliminary budget is available for inspection by all interested persons at the town hall, Baker Road, between the hours of 8:30 and 4 p.m.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Wood, second.
Second.
Mr. Remedet. Rick, I'm making a note, we both should, following tomorrow's work session, if there are adjustments, which I know there will be, we want to update the copy and make sure the cover page is dated appropriately for the ones that you would have available, the summary sheets. Any other discussion? Roll call?
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Sheila Brockway,
Yes.
Gerard Benedette.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 326.
Resolved that a public hearing to be held at the town hall at 151 Baker Road on Thursday, November 5th, 2009 prevailing time for the purpose of hearing and considering any objections which may be made to be completed consolidated assessment rolls as follows, and which are on file in the town clerk pursuant to the town law, section 239, and it is further resolved that the town clerk is hereby directed to have published an press Republican notice of said public hearings to be held at the town hall.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Brockway, second.
Second.
Mr. Wood, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Sheila Brockway,
Yes.
Gerard Benedette.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes.
Yeah, might have quite a few
There
hearings.
will be quite a few hearings. I remember them well. That's the end of the formal
I have
agenda.
one note. I wasn't here at the beginning when we looked at the minutes. I had a question on the appointment of electors for the vote that has to be held at Cumberland Head on December 9th.
Is that a resolution?
Yes, it's in here somewhere.
I don't.
310.
Okay.
It says that the town clerk is going to submit to the town board the names of no fewer than 4 individuals to be inspectors for election.
Right.
Have we got those?
No.
So we need to get those done.
Not that I'm aware of. I haven't
No.
seen this.
But the vote at this point is on December 9th, 2009 at the Cumberland Head Fire Department from 12 to 8. 12 noon to 8 p.m.
Okay, anything else? We're also in process, in fact, I'm hoping tomorrow, Rick, you and I will get a chance, it just hasn't worked out in the last couple of days, to go through the email that we received from Mr. Tabner and get organized with the absentee ballots. I think there was another call today, Bonnie indicated someone wanting to get that in that process. We've spoken with the attorney consulting us in this process. Has had a great deal of experience, and he has sent to us a rather systemic list of what the next steps are. We're kind of eating the elephant one bite at a time here. And as I get that, I will put a copy in your boxes so you're aware of how that's going to work. There were a couple of things. maybe one worth noting that, took me back a little bit. Individuals who want an absentee ballot, obviously, have to come in to the clerk's office. They'll have to document, and a documentation that's notarized, that indeed they're eligible to vote. Ricky will then give them their absentee, and of course, record, and they'll sign, and so on and so forth. And they may submit that. The part that I think is very important, and as I said, just surprising a little, I understand it, but in the event someone calls and says, gee, Mr. Collins, I can't find my absentee ballot, would you send another one down? Can't. People are going to have to be very, very careful that they don't lose their ballot and they complete it as soon as possible. I think we want to follow up also with, once they have it in their hands, could they do it right then and we can put it in the safe or something. And I just see that happening. I worked in public schools too long, and as Mr. Coffey, I'm sure, seen at Plattsburgh State, I thought I turned my paper in, Professor.
No, that never happened, ever happened.
So it's very important, and there'll be some notes like that that we'll certainly make sure people know, and we'll give them what they need for documentation. But we'll try and get together tomorrow a little and finally nail that down. And then we do need to go to the steps, as you're indicating, Tom, of getting the individuals identified that will work the polls. We're all set with the firehouse, but there are some procedures that
Well,
have
the Board
to
of
be
Elections, they
completed.
have training already, and they train the people, and here we're sort of doing it. I think it's important that everyone knows exactly what they have to do,
Oh, absolutely.
and what needs to,
And
what needs
and
to be done,
ideally,
and how things need to be checked.
Ideally, we'll have individuals who have been trained and have worked in elections before, and, from that part of the community that would also know people. But we'll do what needs to be done. Anything else?
Or just one other comment. I would brought this up, and maybe you did during the minutes, but I thought it was wonderful that we had this Champlain Park wastewater treatment plant decommissioning, and we ended up under budget. We ended up under budget enough that we had the few $100,000 to finish the rehabilitation project for the manholes and sewer. And I think that's really important, and too often, everybody says, well, always everything goes over budget. Well, we didn't go over budget, and not only didn't we go over budget, we're able to use the extra funds to do another project that we were going to need to do as well. And this will, in the end, save us quite a bit of money, and our infrastructure will be in much better shape.
And the building looks great in the community. From where I read it, the new roof on painted and all that.
I still haven't been out there to see that.
Looks
So,
good.
this is all one out.
Well,
Okay, anything else?
I think your disc out there.
If not, I would seek a motion to adjourn this evening.
So moved.
Ms. Brockway, do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Renadette, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Bill Brockway,
Yes.
Brian Benedett,
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, we'll stand adjourned at 7:35. Drive safely.
Right.
Have to do the same. I hope, I don't know if legally you have to.
Oh,
That's
legally.
what I want done.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I have balance. 4 is a minimum. We're going to want to find more than 4. Because of all the
One brave soul.
myriad of things that happen.
Somebody's got it.